Hey guys, Ike here from Mike'sOutdoors.com. I'm here today to do a review on the SV28 spotting scope from SVBONY. Okay, so first off, we're going to run through the specs of this thing and then we're going to do some testing on it. We're going to do a water test on it, and I can't film through it because I just cannot seem to get my cell phone to line up with it. So I've got a mount ordered that we're going to do some filming through this later in a follow-up video. So we'll show you that. We'll show you what it looks like through this scope at that point. But this is the SV28, and I hope that I'm saying the name right. It's SVBONY. SVBONY is what I'm hoping that the name is, because that's how I would pronounce it. So let's run through the specs of this thing, and then let's do some testing on it, and then we'll show you the targets that we could see on this thing. Maybe even try to put my cell phone through it and see if we can get some pictures of this thing. But I really don't have much range here at the house to put it out there very far, and I don't like putting a target somewhere out in the neighborhood and then looking through a scope at that target. I'm afraid someone will call the law on me and think I'm people misunderstand when you're looking through a scope at a target what's going on. So I don't really feel comfortable doing that here at the house. So until I can get back to the range and get this set up with something to see through the lens, you just have to take my word for it on the targets and what I could and could not see through it. Like I said, it turns out finding a good place to film with the sun in this yard is pretty tough. So we'll give you a good close look at the mushrooms and the SV28 here on the ground. So this is going to come with pretty much your standard stuff that most of these lower price point scopes are going to come with. This is a few other features that you're not going to get on some of these lower price point ones, but so it's going to come with a tripod, it's going to come with instruction manual, it's going to come with a bag, and it's going to come with a cleaning cloth. So some of the features of this thing that I like, it has an adjustable got mushroom all over my hand. It has a focus knob right here in the front, easy to get to, easy to use. It has a sunshade on the front that you can just slide in, slide out. I do like that feature of it too. And it has a cap, has an adjustable eyepiece that you can take off of there, and of course it zooms from 25 to 75 there. So let's run over some of the specs of this thing. Of course, this thing is green too. It has a nice soft coat finish to it. It is a nice good finish all the way around, so it's going to be nice and protected. This is a 75 power magnification. You can adjust that right here, 50, 25, and on down with your focus knob there and your sunshade in the front. This is fully coated, fully multi-coated lenses. This weighs 2 pounds. It has a 70 millimeter objective lens, and it has a 15 millimeter eyepiece on the back. The prism type is a Poro, and the prism glass is a BAK4. The field of view, now I don't know if I'm saying this right. I had to look it up and see exactly what they meant by field of view, but the field of view is 43 feet at 1,000 yards. So good field of view from what I looked up. I'm not sure, the spotting scopes are not my area of expertise, but from what I looked up, that was a pretty good field of view for a scope in this price range. And this thing is priced at $58, and it is going to have some discounts that we're going to be able to give you guys down in the comment section. So if you like the comment section, or if you like this scope and you want to pick it up, you'll be able to check out the links in the comment section below, and you'll be able to get a discount on this thing. And the bugs right now are just absolutely going crazy. The mosquitoes are just tearing this thing up. Mushrooms in the background probably don't help. So we're going to test this thing. We're going to go ahead and test it. It doesn't say that it's fog proof. It says that it is dust proof, waterproof, and doesn't say anything about being fog proof. But we're going to test it out. We're going to throw it in the freezer and bring it out here to this 90 degrees and see how well it holds up to that. And then we're going to test it for being waterproof, and then we'll just run down and show you the targets that I was able to procure from my father-in-law, and we'll run down how well I was able to see those targets and at what range I was able to see those at. Okay, so the next test we're going to do here is we're going to see how fog resistant this scope is. What I've done is I have the scope down in the freezer in my basement. So it's right at freezing, been in there about 20 minutes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it outside here where it's about 85-90 degrees and see how bad it fogs up. Most scopes are going to fog up under this kind of extreme test, going from super cold like that to below freezing to 85, 90 degrees, but we're going to test it out and see how well it withstands the fog. Okay, so as I expected, this is fogged up quite a bit. You can see there on the end, the fog in there. It is fogged up quite a bit, but I expected it to do that, going from being freezing temperatures to 90 degrees. Just about any scope out there is going to fog up under those situations. So let's get this thing warmed back up and we'll see if it's waterproof. Okay, so let's see how waterproof this thing is. Actually feels really good. Let's get her good and soaked. Yep. Okay, so we got it nice and wet. We're going to dry off the lenses here with a dry rag and take a look through it. Let's see. Yep, absolutely no water residue in there, so it is waterproof. Okay, so since I can't get this to line up with my cell phone, I'm going to just show you the targets that we were able to see and how we tested this out on a range. There's one target that I don't have. I have the 100-yard target, and these are official targets that my father-in-law shoots at competition. These are the official IBS, National Target Company. I don't know how that all works, but this is the official targets that my father-in-law shoots at the matches that he goes to. And we tried out a 100-yard target at 100 yards, a 200-yard target at 200, and a 300-yard target at 300 yards. And we're going to show you each one of those targets, but I do not have the 100-yard target with me. It is actually in my Jeep that's in the shop getting the air conditioning fixed. So I'm going to have to put up a picture, probably right down here, of that 100-yard target. And what we did was we put this, just like they do at competition, we put this on a black background, so it's really hard to see. This 100-yard target is really, really hard to see at 100 yards. And the way we tested it was, we tested it with my father-in-law was shooting a 223 or a 22 caliber diameter bullet. Some of these are with 6mm, but I believe the 100-yard target was the 22 caliber bullet. It may have been his 22 rifle. But really, really small holes. And at 100 yards with this scope, we were able to see those holes even with the black background. It has a nice, clear picture, and you're able to zoom in on it, and you're able to get a really nice, a really good picture of where you're actually hitting on that target. So at 100 yards, you're able to see this little target right down here, and you're able to see it even with the black background. Now at 200 yards, this is the target that you're going to see at 200 yards in your official matches, your National Bench Rest Shooters Association official target. And this was shot with a 6mm. I'm not exactly sure the rifle, but the caliber of the actual bullet is 6mm. So you can see very, very small holes here. And with a black background, we were able to make these out. These were actually pretty good at 200 yards. So even with that really small 6mm hole in there, and these targets being as small as they are, we were able to make those out. Now, it wasn't the clearest, greatest thing, you know. You definitely wouldn't be able to see it if it didn't have that black background. And some of these that were like this one here with that black background was kind of pushed up and closed. That one was hard to see. I could see the indication of the top, and that was about it at 200 yards. Now 300 yards, you get into these much bigger targets here, but you still got the smaller hole, so you can still see this is still that 6mm rifle of my father-in-law's, who is an excellent shot, by the way. Don't look at this one. That's his spoiler, I'm assuming. He's an excellent shot. So at 300 yards with this target, I was not able to make out the holes. This is a very small caliber bullet. So with something like a 308 or a 30-06, a 30 caliber bullet and up, you might be able to see that hole in there. But with these smaller holes in there, I was not able to make these out at 300 yards. So the scope is really good at 100 yards. It's good at 200 yards, and when you get to 300 yards with these smaller caliber bullets, I was not able to make these out. And like I said, I wish I could show you these guys that, but I'm not comfortable doing that here in town. I live right in the middle of town. I actually have a school right next to me, so I'm not comfortable doing that and alarming people with targets put out and scopes and everything like that. So we'll follow this video up with a look actually through the glass at these particular targets. Okay, so that's the SV28. This is a $60 scope, and I can tell you that I have a scope that I bought from Bass Pro that was a $120 scope, which as far as these scopes go is not expensive. So I have a scope that's double the price of this one, and this one is as good or better than that scope that I bought from Bass Pro in a lot of ways. It's equal. So it's a really good bargain scope for the money. And if you're like me, I'm not going out and shooting 300, 400, 500 yards. My max distance is 200 yards for what I'm shooting, and it's that shooting that 200 yard target. I shoot, or I'm going to shoot eventually, in a factory class shoots. We shoot at 100 yards and we shoot at 200 yards, maybe out to 300 yards. But this is going to do very, very well for me in that entry level class and getting into long distance shooting. It's definitely going to work at the rifle ranges that I shoot at around here, just for your standard target practice at 100 yards. It's going to work excellent for me around here for spotting deer. My wife actually likes it for putting in the kitchen and looking at the squirrels on our trees out here. So it works really well for that, and I think it's going to be a great entry-level scope for $60. And we're going to put links down below so you can go to check this out, and you can get a small discount on it by clicking on that link and going and purchasing it there. And it does matter what country you're from as far as where you purchase this at. So click the link corresponding to the country that you're from. But I'm really impressed with this thing. Done a really good job with everything I've asked it to do, and it's a great entry-level scope. I also have another model that is a 50 power scope that we're going to do a quick run through on it, but this one is definitely better for that. That 50 power is great for to 100, 150, maybe out to 200 yards if you're spotting animals. Not great for targets. This is definitely the superior model for targets. If you're looking into something where you want to be able to count the points on a buck at 300 yards, or you want to be able to see a 6mm hole in a target at 200 yards, you're going to want to go with this SV28. But we are going to do a review on the 50mm, or the 50 power, I'm sorry, scope as well, and I definitely think that its applications. So check back with us and you can see our full review on that 50 power model, and click the links below if you want more information on this SV28. Okay, so click those links below, and if you want to follow us on social media, we're on Instagram and Facebook under Ike's Outdoors, and we really appreciate you guys watching these videos, and we'll see you next time.